This episode of Foreplay is brought to you by Simply Safe. When it comes to protecting the ones you love, I'm sure we can all agree nothing is more important than their safety. Me and Riggs do not have kids. That's true, right?
That's definitely true.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Our guy KFC is about to have his second one, so this is more for him. Simply Safe helps them protect, so I always know they're safe. Each Simply Safe system is a security arsenal expertly engineered to protect each access point to your home. You can set up the system yourself in under an hour and save hundreds on installation fees. Simply Safe is designed so that you can easily blanket your home in professional protection. 24/7 monitoring is just $14.99 a month. No hidden fees, no gotchas, that's it. No long-term contracts. Simply Safe will never lock you in because they earn your business every single day. To find out why millions of Americans trust Simply Safe to protect their loved ones, go to simplysafe.com/barstool. That's BARSTOOL now. If you order today, you'll get an extra 10% off plus a free keychain remote and free shipping. Go to simplysafe.com/barstool today.
All right, Foreplay. The boys are back, joined by my friend Trent.
What's up?
We got a big week this week. It's U.S. Open week. We got a lot to talk about. The boys have been in the news since the last time we were on the show.
We sure have.
Been up and down in the news. We have our first recurring guest. No, well, Will Cox has been on a couple times. But we got Steve Elkington back on.
Yep, and this is going to shock everyone out there. He was fantastic.
He was fantastic. He's an animal. He is a very funny man. He tells you what he thinks. Not afraid of anything. Knows his shit.
Yeah, he's down at Erin Hills right now. So he gave us he walked the course this morning. Gave us some good feedback on what to expect out there. So go look forward to that interview later in the episode.
He talked to some of the guys. He told us about a couple conversations he's had with Stevie Williams this week.
Has some interesting opinions on Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, the whole deal.
He was curious about Trent's ass after the Paige Sporanic video.
He was. That made me feel good that he watched that video. That's very cool.
Yeah. So
does that mean he has the Barstool app?
Yeah. Well, his son's a big shout out to Sam too.
Yeah.
Who's a good friend of ours and a big stoolie and all that. So maybe he showed it to him. Who knows? I don't know. You think Elk knows how to use the app and all that?
Absolutely not.
It's amazing though because he always talks about his digital footprint that he represents these golfers and stuff. So maybe he is pretty sneaky tech savvy.
Maybe I'm underselling how much he is in the social media game.
People can make their own, draw their own conclusions from the Elk interview. Talked to him for about 20 minutes and very colorful, very good time as always. But yeah, we've got the U.S. Open this week, which is pretty much we want carnage. We're going to get into some of that.
Yeah.
We had so we'll I guess we'll go chronologically.
You want to start? Where do you want to start? With Stern?
Last week we got pretty randomly ripped by Howard Stern.
Yeah, and what I want to say, do you think he's going to play this on the podcast on his episode 2? Probably not.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I wish he would say us by name. People were like, congratulations on getting ripped by Stern. Like that was a badge of honor. I guess that's a badge of honor that I don't know about. I was never a huge Stern guy. So big week for us. He's the king of all media. That's his nickname. So getting
Is that his nickname? King?
Yes.
The king of something?
The king of all media.
That's his, wow.
Yes.
That's his specific nickname is king of all media?
He's a big fucking deal, yeah.
Oh, I know he's a big deal. I didn't know that was actually his nickname. That's kind of a wild nickname.
I got so many people send it to me like, king of all media ripped you guys a new asshole. Again, which was fine. I think everything we said was pretty valid. The argument against whether JJO or Baba Booey should be the new thing is a pretty stupid argument in general.
Both are kind of pretty stupid in general. I mean, if you're one of those annoying people yelling all the time at golf tournaments and stuff, I don't think you really care that much, where or what you're yelling about. You're just kind of yelling.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we got into it with Stern. That was a good time. We got a lot of PR from that. We were on radio show. We were doing all kinds of hot stuff.
You're buzzing. It's always good when they're pulling us into serious. We're on the rundown. Howard Stern's talking about you. That you're doing something right when that happens.
Yeah, I got really nothing against Howard Stern. I think we kind of agree. One of his producers probably just handed him that right beforehand. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll rip into these guys, whatever.
I know for a fact that he forgot who we are, and what we were trying to do as soon as that segment was over.
Very much a professional, too. Didn't mention us at all.
Yeah.
Nothing about our names, our podcasts, nothing.
Not a Trent, not a Riggs, not a Foreplay, not a Barstool, not a nothing.
Speaking of Barstool, Foreplay is presented by BarstoolSports.com. I always forget to say that. I think I forgot to say it again.
That's okay.
But staying in line with publicity and all that, I had something that I'll never ever accomplish again, which was a tweet that just had no business going crazy viral and went beyond crazy viral.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily golf related, although it kind of is, I suppose,
Yeah.
the way its origin. But we like to talk about our weekends on this podcast. People seem to like when we do that.
Yep.
And you had yourself an interesting weekend. You want to walk people through it who they probably know already, but...
So I had myself a really interesting weekend that kind of culminates with the virality of everything that happened. But I played a member guest this weekend up at TCC, the country club up in Brookline, Mass. Very traditional, classic U.S. Open U.S. Open USGA hosting course. Has hosted most recently the U.S. Amateur in 2013. Also hosted the 1999 Ryder Cup that people much remember Justin Leonard for his putt on 17. I'm very lucky that a guy I went to school with. Shout out to my boy Willie. Grew up in Brookline. He's a Brookline guy. He's been a member since he was a kid. Nicest guy in the world. And like 2 years ago, he was on the wait list to get into this tournament. It's called the Squirrels. Cool name.
I don't know if you were going to stop and admire that name because I wanted to.
The Squirrels is great. The gear that they give out at the Squirrels is great. I'm wearing a hat right now.
Is that what that is?
It's very sexy.
It's a very sexy hat.
So it's a 3-day event. Tons of golf. On Friday, they set up the course in U.S. Open style championship course that they don't always have because it's 27-hole track. So they usually do the main course and they have another 9 called the Primrose. But for the U.S. Open layout or the championship layout, they kind of combine a couple different holes and all that. So they set that up Friday. You play that. It's a grind. It's intense. It's very difficult. They're having the U.S. Open again in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I think we played about 4 rounds over the course of the weekend up there. Saturday morning, I am in the locker room, and I'm getting ready, throwing on some sunscreen, hungover as balls.
Yeah.
Throwing on some sunscreen, and just one of my buddies that I've gotten to know, from 3 years in the tourney, just kind of walks by, gives me a little shit about putting on sunscreen. Just like, oh, you little bitch, like you little pussy, putting on sunscreen.
I will say, a lot of people thought it was me.
Really?
Who was chirping you. I got chirped a bunch on Saturday because I have famously not wear sunscreen. Like when we were at the Masters, I had the hat tan forever. I still have it.
You still have a hat tan from
so
your lack of
a lot of people
sunscreen.
came at me like, Trent, you use sunscreen. You're not a pussy if you don't use sunscreen. For the record, it was not me. I was not there.
It was not you.
Nope.
It was another guy who will go unnamed. But anyhow, he does that. I thought about it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's there's a tweet in there somewhere, like somebody giving somebody else shit for wearing sunscreen. It's
pretty
kind of
normal
ridiculous.
thing to do.
Right. It's like sunscreen. It's like you're trying not to get sunburnt and cancer and stuff. Anyways, I put the tweet out. The course has a no phone policy, which, I try to.
Can we stop there for a second? How do you go 3 hours without looking at your phone as a blogger? Not that you should be checking it because in case something happens. Just the anxiety of it all.
I mean, occasionally in between holes and stuff, I'll check it. But I mean, it was a Saturday, so it was like I didn't have to check it because you can get away with a lot more as a blogger on like a Saturday.
Sure.
And the anxiety's not there as much. And I was really into the matches. I don't know. You're kind of enthralled by the whole place. It's very historic. There's a lot of different, historic golf moments that have happened at different places. So you're kind of soaking everything in. Next thing you know, it's 3 hours later. I check my phone again in between holes. I got 10,000 retweets or something. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Most I had ever had was about 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting into all this petty stuff about retweets and all that, but that's our life. I mean, that's our lifeblood. That's what we do.
No, I heard you mention it to someone, I don't know if it was on camera or on the radio, where people act like we don't care about, or people in this office, act like we don't care about likes and retweets. I fucking live for likes and retweets.
Live for it.
That's what I live for.
KFC texted me and was like, we fucking try to get this traction nonstop every day for 8 years, and you come in with this stupid sunscreen tweet.
Yeah, and not to take away from the tweet, because it is funny, but that's not the one you think is going to pop.
Not even close. Not even close. And I would have never guessed it when I put it out there. I was just like, yeah, well, it's a pretty good, little sunscreen tweet, kind of like the joke being the sun's the fucking sun.
Yeah.
It's basically, the strongest, most powerful thing imaginable.
It's extremely relatable. Everybody knows about the sun.
And so put that puppy out there, and I mean, now it's got 130,000 retweets, almost 500,000 likes.
It's almost like those numbers are so high that they're not even numbers anymore.
My theory is it got into some upper echelon, internet jet stream that people don't know about, and you just can't get into that. And somehow someone put it into that, and once it was in it, dude, it fucking took off.
The way this happens, I've never had it happen this level. This is the biggest Barstool tweet I've ever seen, and I've been around for a while now. But what always happens is it just takes one. It takes one like meme generating site or one semi-famous person
to put it into that jet stream.
They put it in the jet stream. You didn't look at your phone for a while, so you wouldn't see it happen in real time. And by now, it's buried so far, you have no idea.
No idea where it started.
But there is always one. As soon as it retweets, then you're in that jet stream. But you got into a jet stream that most presidents don't even get into when they tweet stuff.
I was looking. I mean, I was even going through. Ariana Grande put out her big thing from when she did the Manchester concert like a week ago, which got like 80, 90,000 retweets. And I mean, think about how many people were retweeting that, how important that was. And my stupid tweet about sunscreen does 130K. It's like ridiculous.
The retweets is clearly impressive. You've got about 430,000 likes.
The likes are off the charts.
I can't even think about those numbers in terms of tweets.
It gives me such joy that I did that. Like I accomplished something, even though it's really like not. It wasn't like a groundbreaking tweet. It was like pretty good.
That's the thing. That's the thing about it. You've, like you said before, you have probably put out tweets that you thought, here we go. This is the one that's gonna like make you famous.
How about Brett, office manager Brett? The balls on that little fucker. He came up to me and was like, "Yeah, I saw it right when you tweeted it. I didn't even retweet it or like it. I just scrolled right past it." I was like, "Fuck you, dude." How bad is your radar?
He's clearly the wrong one. There's 430,000 other people who are like, this is my tweet right here.
Terrible is your taste in good Twitter.
Oh.
Idiot.
Yeah. How long you been riding this high, you think?
It's already kind of, I've looked at it like it finally ran out of steam this afternoon.
It's never really going to run out of steam. You're going to be getting notification for that tweet for the next year.
Well, I muted it.
Oh.
So they got this sweet, relatively new feature where you can just mute all notifications on a tweet. So I don't get anything from it. I don't get replies. I don't get retweets. I don't get anything.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. If you ever need a dopamine rush, though, turn those notifications back on and be like, let's rip.
You think that? Yeah. I mean, if like nobody texts me for a couple days and I'm feeling like a loser, I can just pop back on the notifications for that tweet. Boom. I'm viral again.
You've got that option for the next 6 months because that thing's going to be rolling for a while.
Yeah. So it was a great weekend. Shout out to everyone at TCC at the Country Club. It's one of those places, it's a very exclusive place, very historic. People would probably think like, oh, it's stuff, The guys there are literally the nicest dudes in the world, and it really reminds you that pretty much no matter where you go on this planet, men are pretty much all the same. They just want to drink and play golf and pretty much talk about golf.
Yeah.
And have a good time and tell stories and be a little inappropriate in telling stories and like laugh at how dumb it is.
A little locker room talk?
A little locker room talk. It's just like no matter where you go.
No, yeah.
That's what dudes are into.
It really is true. That it'll be true until the end of time.
It'll be true forever. And it was an awesome weekend. So shout out to that whole staff. They run an unbelievable operation. Shout out to my boy Willie for inviting me because it's like who in the world gets invited to that kind of tournament? Why would I get invited?
Right.
It's like all these legitimate people that have like legitimate careers and lives, and then I'm like the idiot that stumbles in there.
Hey, I'm a blogger. What's up?
Yeah, but it was as is always. There's Foreplay fans everywhere coming out of the pro shop.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, coming out of the pro shop. The caddies are coming out. Everybody was super nice, super supportive. Big fans of the pod, of Foreplay in general. So shout out to all those people. It was a good time. We also had our guy Kip Henley's kind of back in the
news in a weird way.
Yes.
So we had Kip Henley on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
And he had recently split from Vijay Singh after the Players, right?
Yeah, and he was like, basically, Vijay was too mean to me.
That was funny. I don't know if we ever talked about that. There was a funny moment where Kip Henley very quietly and very calmly basically said Vijay was too mean to me and I had to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, which you could tell he's a very
he's a sensitive guy.
Sensitive.
Emotions on his sleeve type deal.
Yep, which I love.
Me too. Anyway, so he was on Braden Thornberry's bag this weekend at the St. Jude Classic, and that amateur, Braden, made himself a run. He ended up tying for fourth in the tournament.
He was in contention.
Yeah.
Young dude, obviously, and it was funny because when we had Kip on, he was like, we were kind of asking him, where are you going from here? What's the plan? He's like, I'd love to get on the bag of some young stud. Well, seems like he might be on the path here.
Yeah, I wonder where they go from here because the caddy player relationship is very strange, as we learned from Kip. So now is Kip Braden's guy?
Who knows? It's funny too because people kept tweeting him like, did you make any money this weekend, Kip? Blah blah blah. And Kip's like, well, no, 10% of nothing because the guy's an amateur is actually nothing.
Is zero.
Blah blah blah. But
and we looked it up. Braden Thornberry would have made $240,000 this week, and then Kip would have made $24,000.
That would have been nice.
So, But you would think now you get repaid in some sort of loyalty, maybe.
Yeah, you would think so.
Although the caddy world does seem quite fickle, where Kip basically said if you're on one side of the green, like when they're practicing, if you're on the wrong side, you might not get that guy.
You just get real lucky.
You get very lucky.
Yeah.
So hopefully Braden is the next big thing, and our guy Kip is the next big thing on the bag.
Huge Kip Henley guy right here.
Huge.
Gigantic.
Huge.
So we also had Daniel Berger with the back-to-back wins at the FedEx St. Jude Classic. Quick nod to myself, who I wrote in last week's preview. Daniel Berger will repeat this year. Don't ask me why. Just put that money down and collect.
Have a motherfucking weekend, Riggs.
I had a bunch of people shot me some tweets and said, thank you, Riggsy, with little screen grabs of their profits.
Always good.
I believe that as much shit as people give me for being an idiot about golf, which sometimes is definitely true, I believe that's 4 winners I've picked this year.
No way.
Which I think is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's very, very good.
What are we at? 20? A little over 20 weeks.
That's a hell of a percentage.
If that's it in golf, that's like.
I mean, that's why we gave so much stock into the Cat Father early on.
That's why we were all in on Cap.
Right, because he got 3 in a row early on.
Yeah, he got 3, and I think 4, but 1 before we started. Like I started reading his DMs.
Yeah. So 4 is pretty good if that's how many you picked.
Love Daniel Berger, a.k.a. Tori Slater's boyfriend, getting the W. He seems like a beauty.
He does.
So he's a guy we should try to get on. Sunshine, try to get Daniel Berger on the show. Thank you. Butch Harmon had a hell of a quote.
Yeah. Oh, you might have to stall here while I look. I got it right here. So Butch Harmon went on some radio show. I blogged it on Friday. I'm not sure what it was, but Butch Harmon says, when Dustin Johnson goes to the first tee, he's got to take his balls in a wheelbarrow, which is just a fantastic quote.
I love knowing and learning that behind the scenes, Dustin Johnson is the cockiest motherfucker in the world.
Is that what we're learning?
I mean, if he needs a wheelbarrow to carry his balls, that means his balls are so fucking big in his own mind, metaphorically, that he needs a wheelbarrow for him.
Well, and you'll hear
wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Think about like how big your nuts would have to be to fit into a wheelbarrow and
It's
not
huge.
be like preposterous.
Well, and you'll hear during the Steve Elkington interview where he talks about how he can't believe how Dustin Johnson performed under that pressure at Oakmont last year,
right,
with the stroke penalty and all that.
Yeah, which was that was kind of the moment everybody thought of. All right, DJ's breaking through. The floodgates are open.
It did.
And he did what he won 3 in a row at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Then he fell down some stairs. I did see somebody, I don't know if this is complete horseshit, but somebody tweeted me that there's like 72 stairs at Aaron Hills, and therefore they're not betting on DJ this week.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, a little joke in there somewhere.
Little joke, but yeah, I mean, I just like that Butch Harmon quote a lot. If you watch the video of him saying it too, it's one of those deals where he's on a radio show where he doesn't know what he can say, so he says, "Can I say whatever I want on this radio show?" And the guy goes, "No." I mean, you can say whatever you want, but not really. And he just says, Dustin Johnson has the biggest balls in the world.
It's hard not to like that a lot. Speaking of, well, let's go to the opposite of something that cool. Bubba Watson posted, we just noticed, one of the worst videos I've ever seen on Twitter.
He's buying eggs or something.
I think his video is him basically bragging about giving $20 to buy eggs, which usually costs like, what, $3 or $4?
I don't think he knows what he's doing in these videos. And the second one is him hoping he doesn't get spit on by an alpaca. All I have on these videos, and if you go and watch them, I apologize. He is the least funny person ever.
He's the least funny person ever that thinks he's funny and interesting.
He thinks he's like Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
He thinks these videos, he's like, this is it. Once I'm done with this golf thing, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
We should try to get Ted Scott on and see if Ted Scott hates Bubba Watson, too.
We should have Ted Scott on and have him use one of those FBI voices like they do for mob guys who do interviews.
Yep.
And it'll be very like slow and deep. And we'll be like, this may or may not be Ted Scott. And then it will be.
Okay. I like that. Again, Sunshine, book that, please.
Yeah.
Just book that stuff.
Ted Scott giving an under disguise interview. And then who was the other one? Oh, Daniel Berger. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Berger. All right. Now, the reason we're talking about all this is because it's U.S. Open week. Mm-hmm. We're at Aaron Hills. We get into it a decent amount with Elk in terms of the course and all of that. Officially listed at 7,741 yards. The fescue is ridiculous.
The fescue is going to be the thing that everyone is sick about hearing by the end of the week. I think I'm already sick of it. The Kevin Na thing was huge. because he like went all crazy about it. But the fescue, we're going to be hearing fescue. If you want to play a drinking game during a golf tournament, fescue, and you'll be very, very drunk.
You think fescue is really going to be the word of the week, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's already up there. The course looks magnificent.
it does.
They had I think it was 2011 U.S. Amateur here, Kelly Craft,
Yeah.
Patrick Cantlay in the final. I was going back and watching some of those highlights. Some of these holes, I mean, on 18 in the championship match, during the first 18, I believe Kelly Craft made like a triple on the par 5. It's like 660 something. Some of these holes, people are going to get into some fucking trouble out here. And that brings me to my main point. Look, we said it last week a little bit. We're going to say it again. I think we speak for the vast majority of golf fans and spectators. We want complete fucking carnage this week.
1,000%.
U.S. Open every week. We don't want it every week over the course of the entire golf schedule. We want it every U.S. Open week, every year. 1 week, carnage. We want guys topping shots out of the rough, hacking, can't get it out, can't find their ball, hitting good chips that they think are going to stop by the hole and then roll all the way off the other side and then make triple. Endless stuff of that because it makes the amateur golfer not feel as bad about their
I
game.
can't understand an argument the other direction. You know what I mean? I can't understand people not wanting just one tournament a year where they completely turn the screws, they completely turn everything up just to see what happens. Like, it would be a weird world that we lived in if they didn't have something like this.
Because you get the other side of the coin is, these guys hit it down every fairway, hit a wedge or a short iron to inside 10 feet and make birdies, and they shoot 66s and 65s.
That's
and,
fine.
That's fine, but it's like that every fucking week.
Yeah.
What makes this week awesome is that it is so different, and the reason it's so different is because the course setup is as difficult as possible. You have to drive the ball straighter than you have to drive it any other week. You got to hit your iron shots with more precision than every other week. Like, your short game needs to be better. It's like that's what's awesome about the U.S. Open. And, even Augusta is the back nine allows you to kind of have a birdie barrage and all of that. The U.S. Open, give us chaos, give us carnage. I alluded to in my blog today about Kevin Na, who we'll get to a little bit. In 06, 07, we had back-to-back years where the winner was 5 over par.
Mm-hmm.
I think at Winged Foot, if you were like 11 over, you were like in the top 10.
It's amazing.
Think about how fucking good these guys are.
Yeah.
They're insanely good. And most of our listeners probably have done this, where you've gone to a tour event, you've stood behind them on the driving range, you watch these guys hit balls, you're like, how the fuck do they ever not make birdie? They hit it so straight. 11 over basically got you inside the top 10. 5 over won the tournament. That's what we want.
And I know we've got guys, we got Kevin Na, we've got Adam Scott coming out saying these conditions are crazy. There's got to be the flip side of that where guys, it means more to them if they win this tournament because they know how hard it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you can win the hardest test that there is, and that's the USGA's line always, right, is we're not trying to embarrass the best player, we're trying to identify him. Clever. I like it.
I do like that.
It's got to be, it's just, in order for the tournaments to be majors, like legitimate majors with all the prestige and all that, they've got to be different. And what makes the U.S. Open is that it's really, really, really fucking hard and brutal, and it's a battle. And that's what we want. And that's what we're going to get. It sounds like this course, it sounds like we're going to have chaos. It sounds like...
I think the fairways are wider than people are. The fescue is a big storyline, but I think the fairways are wide enough where you might not be dealing with it too much.
It's kind of sounding like if you do hit it in the fescue, like you've hit a horrific shot.
And it's like over for you because it's going to take forever to get out of there.
Yeah, so Kevin Na posted that video of him in the fescue.
Okay. Hey, Riggs.
What's up, Trent?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Kevin Na.
Kevin Na who?
Kevin not winning the U.S. Open this year.
Oh!
Sunshine found that joke on Reddit.
That's a good one. That's always a good one. You can't hate a knock-knock joke. Kevin Na, basically, I mean, and it's true, and Jack Nicklaus has said it before, that anytime he heard somebody complaining about the tournament or the setup, he just crossed them off his list. It was like, that's not someone I have to compete against this week. I don't understand why people do this. I mean,
because the only thing people are going to say is like nut up and play.
Do they think that they're influencing the USGA? Like,
that has to be the angle.
Do they think Mike Davis is taking like Kevin? He might be right. I mean, maybe Mike Davis is going, all right, everybody's picking up this video, this story. Even Riggs Barstool blogged it. that Kevin Na's complaining about the fescue and saying, what did he say? He said that they should get together all the U.S. Open champions or major champions and have them set up the course, something like that. It's a direct shot at the USGA.
It is, and I think when they say these things, it drives ratings for people to watch because they want to see chaos. So while these guys maybe think they're pressuring the USGA to be like, oh, we'll make it maybe a little bit easier, I think, first of all, I think USGA might go the other way and be like, we're going to make it harder. And two, that makes me more excited to watch if these guys are very worried about how hard the course is.
Yes, that hypes it for me.
Yep.
You know, big time. And we're going to, any video that I can possibly get of showing how brutal the rough is, how hard the greens are. Like, I always loved last year at Oakmont when the guys were posting videos of them, like, hitting a lag putt that looked really good, and then it would roll, like, 70 yards off the green.
Yeah.
Catch some slope. That makes me be like, I cannot wait to watch this.
I loved when they were showing videos of Chambers Bay and guys were basically hitting ramps on the green. Show me more of that.
Yeah.
I want to see a ball ramp over the hole.
Yeah, when guys are hitting one that's like, oh, it lands a foot left of the hole, and then it bounces 90 yards away from the hole. You're like, yes, that is great. Speaking of Chambers Bay, our guy Gary Player.
Oh, boy.
He unleashed a statement today. So the gist is this, is that in 2 years ago, 2015, Chambers Bay, U.S. Open, obviously it took a ton of heat. I still dislike Billy Horschel because of the antics and the way that he kind of shit on the course.
Yeah.
But Gary Player was brought onto the podcast, or to the coverage.
If he wants to come on the podcast, that'd be great.
Also, it would not be a bad guy to have on the podcast. But he went onto the coverage and was like, the design of this course sucks. The condition that this course is in sucks. It's insane that someone basically let that happen and design this, which is a direct shot at Robert Trent Jones. They've gone back and forth and kind of bitched at each other and whatnot. But Gary Player, he released this statement. My favorite part, so he basically goes into this whole thing, tells a story. He goes, I wasn't at Chambers Bay that year randomly. I was invited to celebrate the anniversary of my career Grand Slam victory, which I completed 50 years earlier at the U.S. Open. The only other golfers in the club are Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. The fact that that's part of his statement is unbelievable. Like, oh, I wasn't even at that U.S. Open because I was invited to celebrate my own Grand Slam that only a couple people have ever done.
That doesn't even scratch the surface of some of the crazy things he said, though. You go a little further down, though. How do you pronounce Wallist? W-H-I-L-S-T? Wildest? Whilst he seems to be suffering from either amnesia or senility. I do wish he would come to peace with what happened during the U.S. Open and just get on with his life.
That's like an ex-girlfriend tweet right there.
Then this is the craziest part to me. One paragraph down. I had the privilege of spending time with Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for 27 years, and if anyone had a reason to have hatred and revenge in their heart, it was him. Yet he did not. I advised Mr. Jones in Rio that he should take a leaf out of Mandela's book. He has very obviously and sadly not done so.
Everything about this is perfect. Gary Player, that guy, he is an animal. Could you imagine some of the shit that he must talk on guys?
No, it has to be if this is any evidence, it just must be endless.
I can't even imagine. He must have very tough standards. He probably doesn't. He's not impressed by very many people.
Dude, he's 86 and he does 4,000 push-ups a day.
Yeah, and he does the body issue of the what is it, ESPN?
Yeah.
ESPN body issue where he's all jacked, naked on there. He's 80.
The funniest thing to come out of social media on Masters Week was him doing bicep curls watching coverage on TV. He's a lunatic.
Yeah. So this was great stuff. It all gets you hyped for the U.S. Open. Somehow Gary Player's feud with Robert Trent Jones is part of that hype. We're going to be covering it all weekend. We're going to be in the office.
Another part that gets us hyped up is Fox's coverage. I love Fox's coverage of this tournament.
So they're doing basically as much pro tracer as technically and humanly possible.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest thing in the world.
Here's what is this? The third year Fox has been doing the U.S. Open, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Because the first year is when they had Greg Norman. And they just dropped him immediately.
Dropped him,
which was kind of tough because I like Greg Norman.
Me too. First year was kind of tough. Second year they seemed to understand more what they're doing. My view has always been to use as much technology as you can get and then drop off what people don't like. I think that's Fox's view of golf tournaments. People maybe don't want as much technology because that's how golf has always gone. It moves like a glacier in terms of everything.
Right.
But the more Pro Tracer, the more technology, this and that. It might be overbearing at some points, but it's just going to be better for it in the end.
Yeah, if you're a golf fan, I mean, just the flight of the golf ball in general just gets you going, gives you like a giant boner. And watching the way these guys hit the ball, watching the ball flight, it just makes it so much better. You don't have to fucking guess. You don't have to wait for those clowns out in the fairway to try to like find it with the camera all the time. Half the time they miss it, especially on like CBS. Half the time they miss it. You have no idea. They're like, oh, I think it kind of went in the left rough. Now you get the Pro Tracer. You get to watch it. You get to watch their ball flight. You get excited about their ball flight.
Fox also does the anti-Augusta in terms of airing it on TV. They show all the time as much as they can, as much coverage as possible. I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be a little different. It's gonna be a lot of Wisconsin like vista shots.
Yeah,
which is very different than what we usually get.
Wisconsin.
Beautiful. Like they're gonna be talking up Wisconsin so much, like how beautiful Wisconsin is.
There's gonna be a lot of bratwurst jokes, cheddarwurst jokes.
We're out in the Midwest. The people are so nice. It's gonna be like that's gonna be the whole fucking gist. It's gonna be interesting.
Stereotypes are largely like bullshit. You'll find nice people and mean people everywhere, but for broadcasts like this, they just completely hammer it home.
Oh, they just go stereotype city on this. They're gonna be like interviewing like little fucking farmers driving down the street, and they're
there might be even. You think they'll make a Making a Murderer reference?
Wow,
because that was in Wisconsin. Yeah,
it was.
I bet maybe they won't go that far, but they might. If they're really buying into the Wisconsin stuff, make a Stephen Avery reference this weekend.
Do you think Vegas has odds on if there's a Stephen Avery Making a Murder reference?
If there isn't, there should be, and I would bet on it. I bet they do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How are they going to get to that?
I was just trying to
From
think.
golf to that. Wisconsin's famous for a number of things.
Yeah.
One of them is
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But they're really going to drive home the Wisconsin thing. And most recently, the biggest thing to come out of Wisconsin is Stephen Avery.
I would have to go against you on that bet. I don't see how they get to Making a Murderer from the U.S. Open.
Do it. Do it.
Here to talk U.S. Open with us is our guy, Steve Elkington. Elk, the man, the myth, the legend. This is a great little chat, as we said. So enjoy this about 20 minutes or so with Elk. This interview with our guy, Steve Elkington, is brought to you by our good friends at DraftKings. Golf's second major of 2017 tees off this Thursday, and DraftKings.com has a $100,000 contest that's totally free to enter. When you play 1 week fantasy golf at DraftKings, you'll be locked in on every single drive, every approach, every putt. A lot of those shots, by the way, are going to have Shot Tracker, which is the coolest thing in the world. Plus, fantasy golf at DraftKings, easy to play. Just pick 6 golfers before the tournament starts this Thursday morning. Then follow your golfers live and rack up points for eagles, birdies, and more. We love all those things. If you are a new player, DraftKings also offers different contests against players at the same skill level. Or start a rivalry and invite your friends to play in your very own private contest. Also a great time. Get a little chirpy, have a little fun, see who knows golf better. DraftKings.com brings you closer to golf and the players who make it great. Remember, the tournament starts this Thursday morning, so hurry to DraftKings.com now to choose your golfers. Be sure to use the promo code FORE, that's F-O-R-E, to enter the free $100,000 fantasy golf contest. That's promo code FORE. DraftKings, the game inside the game. Eligibility restrictions may apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
How we going?
Elk, what's up, my man?
How you doing, mate? You good?
We're doing great. I'm here with Trent, as always.
What's up, Elk?
What's up, T? Was that you on the ground with the T in your ass and all that?
That was me on the ground with a T in my ass. Yeah, I got a big-ass bruise from it.
I saw that, mate. Fucking she just chopped it up.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I don't know what happened. Next thing I thought we were doing, next thing I knew, my ass was on fire.
I want to see that slow mo where they show the blubber like it rolls over. You know, when like a shark bite. You know, they do it in slow mo where that ass cheek folds over and folded back, slapped back on itself.
If I had gone bare ass cheeks, that would be an incredible visual. But I had my boxers on, so it might not be as good.
A lot of people are saying you're kind of a pussy for having your boxers on.
All right, when they lay on the ground and get a ball hit out of their ass, they can come talk to me.
How did you hold the tee? Was that in your ass? Was it in the hole or was it on the outside of the hole?
It was on the outside. Well, when Riggs did it, it was most definitely on the outside of the hole. Paige, she was a little more aggressive. It might have been in the hole when she
jammed it in your ass.
She was getting into it.
Was she?
Yes, she was.
She was excited, I think.
So you guys like a little turn with the heavy muff?
Yeah, I like that a lot. What are you getting into the cartoon game? Is that what's going on here?
Oh, I've always been in it, mate. I do 500 a year.
Jesus. Yeah, I saw some of your ones with Duff are great. We love Duff.
Yeah, Duff's going to be on my show tomorrow, my opening show on Sirius XM tomorrow.
You got a new show launching tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so I have a show on Sirius XM that on the PGA Tour channel that I've decided to do. Basically, Secret Golf has a lot of assets. We have 17 PGA players and LPGA players under contract. So, I do all their digital footprint for all of our players. So, why not get on there and talk more about them?
Who was crazy enough to give you an unfiltered show?
Sirius XM.
Look at that.
They couldn't wait.
They couldn't wait.
They would have given me the S if I asked for it on Sirius.
Why didn't you ask for it?
Well, I did. I got the I.
So what can people expect on the show? What are you going to kind of go through?
Yeah, I think, one of the producers is here right now at the big show. We talked about our mission statement, but basically, there's all kinds of shows on the PGA Tour channel, but our show, I don't want to know what all the other shows are about, because what we do is we bring people into our lives and talk about stories that happen around the tour, stories that happen around our players, and we're real. We have fun with it. It's not the Golf Channel. It's the real deal. And for example, tomorrow we're going to talk about Jason Duffner and what conversation he had with Jack Nicklaus after he won. And that's a conversation that I want to hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Duff won the Memorial obviously a couple of weeks ago. That had to obviously mean a ton to him. How's he go out and shoot? Was it 77 on Saturday?
Yeah, he was like 65, and then 77.
Yeah, and then he battles back, has an awesome Sunday. I feel like it takes a lot of balls to pull that off.
Yeah, we had a little chat Saturday night. We fixed putting, what he was doing wrong with his putting. He said he putted like a donkey on Saturday. And, you guys know golf, right? Once you get going a certain way and things aren't working and you can't fix it, then it has a tendency to get off the rails. It happens to us too, right? So I'm going to leave that for the show tomorrow. He's going to tell us what the fix was on the putting. But, yeah, it's a really good comeback. He's a really good player. Shit, he's won, the PGA, and he's won the Byron Nelson. Now he's got Jack's tournament. He needs a Bay Hill to complete the sleeve of legends.
That's right. What do you think about his chances this week?
I like his chances this week only because he hits it so good, and he was at the big show the other night or last night. We fixed his putting even more. So confidence is a really elusive animal. It's like rare. It's like Sasquatch, and he has Sasquatch in his bag right now. So any guy that's dangerous is a guy like him when he's got that much confidence. Of course, I ran into Stevie Williams today, famous for caddying for Tiger, a good friend of mine. He's probably the greatest caddy that's ever lived. Probably won 150 tournaments, probably 20 majors. And he was telling me, there's so much rough out there. No kidding. It's like up to your cards in rough out there. If you hit it in there, you ain't. There's not going to be on the telecast tomorrow. It's going to be, oh yeah, he's going to go in there. He's going to wedge it out down the fairway. Take a play from there. No, but he may not be able to. They may not be able to move it the length of their flip flop out of this stuff. It is nasty. It is walking through, get tangled up, and fall over nasty.
So you've been out there. When did you get out there? Last night?
No, I got out there this morning early.
And you checked out the course. Obviously, we saw from Kevin Na, the fescue. He make it sound like it's basically unplayable. What are your first impressions of the track?
The first impression of the track is very long. It's 7,700. It's on like 600 acres. Most courses are on 250. So it's friggin' gigantic. It's like Everest. But I walked all the way out to the middle of the course to have a look at it. I was sort of surprised with how much rough there is there. I was sort of thinking, for example, how are they going to play this thing for right now? It's windy, it's hot, it's long, very long. And then I ran into Stevie Williams, as I said, and I said, well, the first question I asked him was, can you hit it off the tee and keep it out of the rough? He goes, oh yeah. Yeah, he said, really, you shouldn't get in the rough unless you just, hit a sidewinder.
Because the fairways. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, they're wide. Yeah, they're wide.
Yeah, it looks like they're. It looks like so from what we're seeing, it looks like the fairways are wide as hell, and then there's a very small patch, like 5-10 yards of rough, and then it goes right into that fescue that looks like it's basically unplayable.
Yeah, but that little 5-yard piece
Yeah.
is basically fescue cut off. Like if you took a handful of spaghetti and that you're going to put in the pot and you broke it off at 3 inches, that's what that is. I mean that's nasty too. It's not going to come flying out of there like it does, at your local muni where the grass is real, sort of soft. This is real. I checked it out. This is real firm grass. So there's going to be a lot of drag in the club in the hosel of the club, and you're going to get some. There's going to be some cartage. There's going to be some big numbers out there when those guys hit it out in the big stuff. Oh, mate, it's going to be they may have set a record for most marshals looking for a ball.
Yeah, that local muni rough, that's like Trent and mine's sweet spot. We love that stuff.
The big stuff.
No, that the local muni rough, that soft stuff that's basically just like nothing. That's where we live right now.
Yeah. I've seen you guys. I've seen your action. Yeah, I've seen that action.
We're gonna have to get out with you there sometime. We'll have to play for something.
No doubt. There's no doubt. Make it light on yourself.
Let me ask you this, Elk. Are you a fan of these tough conditions? Do you want the guys to kind of struggle for it, or do you wish they would go ahead?
You know what? The U.S. Open psyched me out. I played good in every tournament on tour except the U.S. Open. The best tournament I ever had was maybe top 20 in the U.S. Open. I played in probably 20 of them. I don't know how many I played in, but I tell all my players that, put it this way. This tournament, there's 156 guys playing. 140 of them are already out. It's already out. This course is it's over for most of them. The longer ball hitters this week have a huge advantage because when you're playing a course that long and you're back there, look, everyone's going to be able to hit the fairways pretty good. There's nobody can be in the rough this week and be anywhere near us.
Well, when you say those guys are out already, I mean, did you consider yourself kind of one of those guys that psyched yourself out before it even started?
I psyched myself out. I tried to not tell myself I was, but I probably was. Just because I was pissed off about something or the way the USGA set it up, and I was pissed at this or I was pissed at that. And I never had that attitude. Sam, my son, said to me, Dad, you're the straightest driver in the history of the world. How the hell did you not play any good in the U.S. Open? And I said, you know what? It's terrible. I should have. I mean, it's just so mental for me, that a tournament.
Yeah, you would think a guy that hits it straight enough to win the Players twice could maybe contend to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I putted bad in the U.S. Open, and the greens were always rock hard, and I was upset with bad bounces and stuff. And you know what? I shouldn't have had – my attitude was 100% wrong. I just think this course is very similar to that. I think there's just not that many guys that are skilled enough to win on this course. The long hitters have an advantage because they're going to hit a lot less club into these greens because the greens, there's going to be a lot of ricocheting around the greens. There's going to be a lot of funky stuff you see on TV. There's balls coming in and they're going to bounce off and they're going to go down and run away. And the greens they're well designed. It's a well-designed course, and it looks good, very lush. It's just going to be one of those U.S. Opens. It's going to be one of those moving car wrecks,
Yeah, so
it's going to be.
So a lot of people saying, USGA is under a ton of pressure. The last two U.S. Opens, if you go back Chambers Bay, obviously the greens, they took a ton of shit for that. The Dustin Johnson situation last year on Sunday, they took a ton of shit for that. Mike Davis himself said that they're feeling a little extra pressure this year. How do you think it's going to go? You think they're going to take more shit?
And let's not forget that Brittany Lang, one of my players, was introduced when she got there's Bethany Lang. Yeah. I think the Lady Prez was in the bag when she gave the trophy away.
I had forgotten all about that. That was something else that day.
That was crazy. And so the USGA.
How would you like to win the U.S. Open and then they drop the wrong front name on you?
Yeah, I mean that's not good. You don't want that. What do you think? How do you think it's going to go? What do you think?
They're under so much pressure. They're so stressed right now. They're big stress right now, and they're big stress right now about this week. There's no not stress. Like next year it's at Shinnecock or Pebble Beach. And by the way, Nicholas said on TV, like 2 weeks ago, he's like, why does the USGA keep like putting himself a round ball in a square hole? I mean, why do they keep going to these courses no one's ever seen? Why don't we take our National Open and go back to all the great courses we have so the world can enjoy these Pebble Beaches, Shinnecock's, you name them, right? Why are we playing at some mystery track?
Right, and that's what they do with the British, the Roto, and that's worked out very well.
No doubt. This looks. It's got that look about it,
Yeah.
All they needed, all you'd need was some donuts and some fatty, smelly sausage shops, and you'd be right in England right here tomorrow here, mate.
So what are the players kind of saying there? I mean, obviously the Kevin Na, and speaking of Stevie Williams, we've had Adam Scott kind of came out and said, don't make it brutal. There's no reason to kind of make par the goal. What are the players really saying kind of behind the scenes about the course?
I haven't polled enough yet, but basically my first look at talking to him today was it's playable.
Good.
Most of the good players, the guys that I'm talking to, like my guys that can really play, they're saying it's playable. It's just going to be real hard though, but they're saying it's playable. What we don't like is the big funky bounce that you get in the U.S. Opens, the ones that we just, like you hit a ball and then it lands on a parking lot, right? And just like, what the hell was that? And you make 7 and, out of nowhere. The hardest thing about the U.S. Open, to me, it's almost a one-day tournament. And I'll tell you why. And I've said this for years. If you, as you guys know this, the score is, let's call the score even par for winning, okay? Let's not go into 10 under. Let's just go even par. If you shoot 77 the first day or 76, there's no way back. You can't get back because you can't make a birdie, right?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that's about this course, but if you're, 8 over, shit, you can't come back. I remember I was playing at Pinehurst one time when it was so hard, and my dad was with me, and I was in the 4th round, and I was like, 15 over, and he comes over to me on the rope, and my dad, he's over from Australia. He goes, "Are you going to bogey every hole?" And I said, "Well, yeah, pretty much. Let me think now. We got 7 holes left. So here's the way it goes, Dad. When you're even par and you're playing the U.S. Open and the pin's over there left, you shoot it 40 feet right and 2-putt, right, to stay even. When you're 15 over, you hit it straight at the flag and it bounces over into the concrete in the back and you go 16. The next hole you shoot it at the flag again and go 17. And on you go until you finish at 23. See how my attitude was in the U.S. Open?
Right, yeah.
Poor.
You're all twisted up about
Stunning you didn't win one.
Yeah, it was poor. Very poor. I wasn't willing to hit it 40 feet and stay 15 over. Okay?
And that's just not, that's not, basically what all the players keep saying is that's not fun golf. That's just a brutal grind the whole time.
That's correct. However, we all want that trophy because it changes your life if you win the tournament and you become one of the greatest players, ever. And to a certain degree, it is a star on your chest if you could win the U.S. Open because you will have survived something pretty brutal.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week where if it was every week where the conditions were this brutal, that would be something else. But it's once a year. You got to go out there and test your mettle. If you win it, you really got to earn it.
Yeah. And to be honest with you guys, there's a lot of guys out there, even at this level, that don't have all the shots. I mean, everyone says, the tour players got all the shots. No, bullshit. Hardly any of them have all the shots. Like Dustin Johnson, mate, he doesn't even have a heartbeat. I mean, could you imagine having a 2-stroke penalty hanging over your head last year and he was just calmly, like he's played the last 7 holes, 200 to still win it? I mean, I would have snapped. I mean, you talk about snap, you would have snapped, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
You would have snapped.
I mean, that I think it was a 6-iron he stepped up on hit on the 72nd hole to like 3 feet. I don't know how you do that with, the day that he had and all that. So obviously it takes a lot to win this thing. We saw, I believe it was Nicklaus came out this week and he kind of ranked the different majors. He said, the U.S. Open means the most to him as an American. You're an Aussie dude. Yep. Where's the U.S. Open rank for you?
Well, it's definitely one of the 4. I'm lucky enough to have won the PGA. I always said that I felt great for winning the PGA because PGA represents all the PGA pros, the club pro. Well, I was taught by all PGA pros. My life has been molded by PGA pros, so I was really thankful, and I still go to places where they're happy that I'm a PGA champion. I understand that Jack likes the U.S. Open. Shit, he's from America. It's awesome. But I'll tell you this. over the, whenever I won the PGA 25 years ago, there's not one day goes by in my life where I don't go somewhere. They may not remember what year it was, and they may not remember the course that I won it at, and they may not even remember which major it was, but they all know I won a major. And that's how far it carries.
Yeah, and when you go to the Masters, they rope off a special area for you, so you can just point and laugh at people like us.
That's correct. It's a rope. It's not to keep us in. It's to keep you out.
Yeah, we'll never forget that. It's just permanently stained into our memory.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys are starting to get the gist of this golf thing.
Yeah, we're getting the gist. So we got the Phil Mickelson story of him.
Oh God,
going to.
I'm so proud of this story.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what
else.
else.
We got to get your take on this one, Elk.
Oh yeah. Hey, he's going to go for the Grand Slam. He's just going to do it a different way. He's going for Krispy Kreme, In-N-Out, Mr. Potato, and Johnny Cheese Stick. That's going to be his Grand Slam when he's down there in California at his kid's deal.
So I take it you're not a fan of the move.
It's a bad move, dude. His kid was valedictorian. Go to the thing or don't talk about it, but stop talking about it. Stop.
It's high school graduation. I mean, everybody graduates from high school. Who cares?
Yeah, no kidding. Make up your mind what you're doing. I mean, he's going for the Grand Slam. I mean, like I said, I know what Grand Slam he's going for.
Do you think
throw in another one? Throw in Mr. Milkshake. Throw in that too. He can do it. He can do it.
Do you think he just doesn't like the course? I mean, I don't understand it.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the guy just cannot stop. I mean, how many mirrors does he need when he goes to the course to look at himself? I mean, are you kidding me? Never misses a mirror. I mean, it's just can't stop talking about himself. I can't talk about it. Terrible. Yeah. I'd rather talk about Tiger.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I would.
Yeah, we could talk.
Bad for him. I feel bad for him too.
Yeah, we could talk Tiger all day, but we. I
feel bad for him. That's not right. Someone told me he's gone away again. Is that right? He went to a rehab or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
They said he's going to a hospital or something.
We're kind of hearing rumors. I don't think anything's been substantiated yet, but
yeah,
we were kind of talking last week a little bit about just the whole, how they unveiled all the different videos and did them at different times, and we just thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little heavy. I mean, I had that back surgery, the same one he did, and mine worked the first time. And as soon as that leg pain went away, mate, I was off the heavy tablets the next day. I was just on Tylenol. And I know he had a couple of bad surgeries. And, of course, we're only getting down to what his problem is or is not. We don't know for sure, but he shouldn't have any pain. He said he didn't have any pain. So here we are a month later, and he's still on all this stuff. So maybe this is – he got lucky he didn't kill himself. Maybe this is what he needed to be, in a strange way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to reach your bottom.
Yeah, you got to reach the bottom. He's got wonderful kids. He's got a pretty good team around him with team. His ex-wife's great. His kids are great. I don't know about his crew that he runs with, whatever, but dude, straighten up. Get organized. You got little young kids, they got to go to do stuff.
Oh yeah, we agree. We're big Tiger guys. We're hoping for a big comeback. That's kind of been our spin zone. Was that now that he's
not going to come. He's not going to be no more shooting the ball. He's just going to be walking around Tiger. He's not going to be no fist pumping cat no more. That's out.
I would say
coming back.
Walking around Tiger is better than the Tiger that we've been seeing lately.
No doubt. There's no doubt about that.
So are you you're going to be at Erin Hills all week?
No, I'm going to leave. I'm doing my show tomorrow, Tuesday, 3 to 4 on XM Central Time. And then I'm going to go back to Texas on Wednesday.
All right. Well, make sure everybody checks out the 3 to 4. Is that what time it is tomorrow?
3 to 4 Central, so 4 to 5. You boys, right?
Yep.
You guys up in the city?
Yep. Yes, sir. 4 to 5 Eastern. All right, Alec. Well, everybody check out the show. Also check out Secret Golf if you haven't. We appreciate it as always. Thanks for hopping on with us.
All right, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks, Elk. This edition of From the Gallery is brought to you by our friends at BetDSI. BetDSI.com says it's time to play, win, and get paid. BetDSI has over 20 years in business. They are a top-rated business. It's safe. I play there. Check out BetDSI.com and check out this offer. BetDSI is offering a free $25 bonus for first-time registrants. Use promo code GOLF25. That's GOLF25, GOLF25, to claim this limited-time offer. BetDSI is also offering 100% bonus on your first deposit. They have great customer service, fast, easy payments for winnings, fantasy matchups, and player versus player wagers. Hundreds of wagers on PGA, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, Formula One, UFC. The list goes on and on and on. BetDSI even has live in-game wagering on major sporting events. You can play virtually every sport at BetDSI, so use Golf25, that's GOLF25, for your limited time free bonus, and try BetDSI.com now. Go there now.
All right, now everybody's favorite segment from the gallery.
Shout out to the folks for sending in questions and scenarios.
We got quite a few more emails, scenarios, questions, etc., from folks. Thank you very much. Quick reminder, foreplay at barstoolsports.com. Email us. We want stuff to talk about. Big part of the podcast is what the average dude or gal experiences with their friends out on the course.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know about any of those if you don't email us. So send us stuff in. We got 3 this week. The first one sent in by listener Andrew. This one's very dear to my heart. Speaking of, we need, I don't know what to call our listeners.
Yes.
We've been kind of just being like foreplay listeners. Obviously, part of my take has AWLs.
They do.
Award-winning listeners, something like that. There's got to be something clever with golf that we could do, but we just haven't come up with it yet.
Yeah, let's do it this way. The listeners, it's them. If they want to try and name themselves, send us things that you might want to be called, because we're having a difficult time thinking of it.
I feel like that's like a cool little like cult thing to have, is like a specific name for your people, for your listeners.
Yeah, I agree.
So send that in along with your emails from the galleries or social media, tag us, tell us what you think you should be called, because we're too dumb and haven't come up with anything. Anyways, Andrew sends in one that's very dear to my heart. He says, this past weekend I was at a local course with some guys. My buddy basically had to bail into a group of pine trees to take an emergency shit. I've been playing since I was probably 10. Have yet to see this move on the course. For the record, I'm not trying to glorify this. It was disgusting, but it was goddamn hilarious to see him squatting in the trees at the same time. Just wondering if you've come across any tricky situations like this on the course where you had to last resort it.
I have not personally, but I have most definitely been with people who have been shitting on the course.
Okay,
Yes.
so you've seen this move pulled before.
Yeah, and I will say, from my personal experience, this guy is like, I'm not trying to glorify. If you got to go, you got to go. That's kind of how it goes.
Right.
But
Jurassic Park.
I could not do this. Not in a million years.
What?
I could not. And that's not to be.
But you don't have a choice.
That's not to be bougie. I can hold it. If I have to hold it, I'll hold it. That's not to be bougie. That's not to be any of those things. I just cannot envision myself taking a shit in the middle of the woods and then being like, all right, I'm ready to go about my day.
So I'm not on Chaps level, like, shitting, where that, Chaps is a big shitter.
You can shit anywhere.
He can shit anywhere. He has to shit everywhere.
Yeah.
But I cannot hold it. When I have to go, I have to go. So I have pulled this move probably 3 times in my career.
Okay.
To the point where I keep a half roll of biodegradable toilet paper in my golf bag.
That to me is the behavior of a man who has done it way more than 3 times.
No, it's just the problem is this. When the times I've had to do it, it's such a small thing for me to just throw half a roll of toilet paper in my golf bag, and it's such a big thing when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
You need it. So I just did it one day. I was like packing my bag, doing that thing where you're like marking your balls, you're cleaning your clubs, you're getting all jacked up for some big round or something. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put fucking toilet paper in my bag.
That's also an extremely clutch thing if someone needs toilet paper and they're like, I got to take a shit.
Save their life.
You save. That's not even an understatement. That's not hyperbole. That's none of that.
That
if you have
person-
toilet paper when somebody thinks they're not going to have toilet paper, you are Superman.
That person basically, they like owe you for the rest of their life. Like you like saved them from falling in front of a train or something.
Absolutely. I would say it's more even intense than that. I think the reason I can't do it is my butt is trained to take a shit on a toilet seat. Even if I had to do this in the most dire of circumstances, I don't think I could.
I could shit in the middle of like a concert if I had to.
No way.
I could like when I got to shit, I got to shit. There's nothing I can do. In fact, I'll give a quick story. I've shit skiing before.
You just like on.
I pulled off to the side of the trail and I used my ski map as toilet paper.
No way.
Ripped it into a bunch of different pieces.
Okay.
I mean, it was very coarse on my ass. It sucked. But when you got to shit, I'm the kind of person, I have to shit.
That's not so bad. I thought what you were saying was you shit while you were skiing. Like you're one of those Iditarod like dogs when they're
No.
running. They train those guys to shit as they're running so they don't waste any time. I thought you were saying I'm flying to the mountain. I'm just shitting my pants.
No, so it was in it was in Colorado with a bunch of buddies, and they took me down this fucking trail, double black diamond, way harder than I'm very capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was taking me forever, because usually if you got a shit, you can just fly down the slope. There's all kinds of different bathrooms and little lodges and shit. But this one was really tough. We're in the trees. It was very heavily treed, very steep. It was taking me forever, and I really had to shit. So I pulled over, 20 yards left of kind of the trail, dug a little thing, took a shit, wiped my ass with literally a ski mat that I ripped into like 10 different pieces, buried it all with snow like I was a creature.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then I skied off.
Can you imagine some poor soul coming down the hill and crashing into a pile of Riggs' shit?
It was, because I'm a courteous guy, it was far enough off that like it would be astronomically unlikely that anyone could come across it. It was
Okay.
like kind of off and back up into like the trees.
Yeah.
So
I'm impressed by your abilities.
I'm
here.
just a when you gotta go guy. I can't help it. I just can't. I can't. Okay. The other option is I'm just gonna shit my pants skiing down the slope, like you said.
There are, on most golf courses, there are places to shit, though, periodically.
Yeah. Problem is you get stuck behind like a slow group.
Yeah.
Or something, and you're like, it might be 30 or 40 minutes. Like that's a long time when you have to shit.
is.
All right. Next one. Thoughts on bringing your own putter to mini golf?
What do you think about this? I'd like to hear your thoughts
Horrific
first.
move. You suck if you bring your own putter to mini golf.
Well, a couple of things. One, I feel like this is something Smitty would do.
Yes, I was just gonna say, because Smitty brings his own controller to play video games.
Okay, that all checks out. What you just said makes a ton of sense. I'm not going to shit on this so much as to say, if you do this, because it is in the same vein of bring your own video game controller, bring your own bowling ball to the bowling alley,
Bring your own pool cue to the pool hall.
bring your own pool cue to the pool hall. If you do this, you couldn't do it, it's fine. That means you're into it, but it says a lot about you. It says a lot about you.
It's just like the part of the mini golf is you have the brutal rubber colored mini golf putter. That's like the whole point of it. That's just you're playing. I can't even fathom that. Like, just it's part of the experience. You bring in your own. If you bring your own, you better win. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
If you bring your own and you lose, you're done.
Again, I am not going to shit on anybody who brings their own putter. I'm just saying
I am shitting.
you
on people that
are
bring their own
introducing yourself. Just that says a ton about you. As soon as you do that, I don't like to give too many people, like if you're meeting people you don't know that well and you're playing mini golf, you bring your own putter, you're telling them so much information about yourself that you don't want them knowing.
Yeah, like that. Like, oh, that guy's not going to be one of my good friends.
Right. Yes. I hate to put it that way, but that is
Like,
true.
I will not text that guy next Friday night to see what he's doing.
No, you're like, oh, you brought your own
Guarantee it.
putter? Cool, man. We're not going to get beers
good luck,
ever.
man. Play well.
Ever.
You suck. You're a loser.
So
I'm as someone that just detailed shitting and how much I like to shit. I'm shitting all over this move. You suck.
you would
bring your own
literally
putter.
shit all over this person?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I haven't played mini golf in a long time, so I don't
Well, the last time I played was like a month ago with Smitty when he beat me.
Oh, yeah.
Should have brought my own putter.
No, you should not have. I'm glad you did not. All right. So we're both on page or on team. Don't do this.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. We got one more from the gallery.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, we got another does this hole in one count. We did this last week to the guys who
Yeah, we've had a couple of them.
I like these.
Yep.
Does this hole in one count? This is from John. Long story short, my buddies and I live near this golf course and learned how to play by sneaking on at sunset and playing 9. Last year I made my first hole in one doing this, but most of my golfing friends say it doesn't count because we didn't pay. What is your opinion, foreplay guys?
Definitely counts.
Definitely counts.
100% counts. I mean, I don't, there's times when it definitely doesn't count, like when you do a group re-tee and then you hole out, like the one we had a week or two ago. That's just called a par.
Yeah.
This one, this absolutely counts. You're just out there playing 9 holes. Yeah, you might have snuck on, but I mean, who gives a shit?
Okay, so since we both agree on this one, let me put this scenario to you.
Okay.
Let's say your house backs up to a par 3, and every once in a while you and your buddies will just go out there and you'll hit one. You'll only hit one. Let's say you hit a hole in one while you're doing that. Does that count?
No.
Okay. Why?
I think you got to be actually in the process of playing at least like 9 holes of golf.
I would agree with that.
I think that's where I would draw the line. I think technically, like the USGA or whoever, I believe their ruling is that it's got to be 18 holes and you have to actually have a scorecard with like all of the holes filled out or something like that for them to technically count it. I believe because they send you like a certificate or some bullshit like that.
I don't think I like that.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's something close to that. Like there is a technicality behind it. in my opinion, if you go out and you're intending to play like at least 9 holes of golf, the reason I say intending is because let's say you go out and you're going to play 9, you get on the 7th hole and it's like lightning and you got to get off the course, but you got a hole in one on the 4th hole.
Or it's getting dark or something.
That counts.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So this one definitely counts. Going behind the house and just playing a par 3 that's right behind your house as like the only hole you're going to play doesn't count.
Okay. I think I agree with that. And then the other one I remember, you remember Rick Riley, clearly.
Yeah.
He had one where he went out and he just hit balls in a par 3 until he hit a hole in one. That does not count, Mr. Rick Riley.
Interesting. How many did it take him?
It took forever.
Yeah. I could do
counted-
that all day and definitely not get a hole in one.
Oh, yeah. No, I could be out there forever. But that also does not count. But
No.
he was celebrating like it did count.
What?
That's Rick Riley. He's a weird guy.
That sucks. Now I lost a lot there. I don't like that at all.
You lost a lot of what?
Just any respect I might have had for Rick Riley.
He's kind of headed that way anyway. He was one of my favorite writers growing up, but then he's kind of gone crazy.
Yeah, you can't do that. All right, that's it from the gallery. We had Andrew, Alex, and John. Thank you for your submissions. Once again, please email us foreplay@barstoolsports.com. Also, if you have an idea of what you yourselves should be called since you're listening to the show, go ahead and let us know about it. We're too dumb, and we're trying to come up with a cool name so that people can rally behind it, something of that nature. All right. So it's about U.S. Open week time. It's about there's going to be a lot of sitting in my bed watching live from the U.S. Open. Now.
Love it.
That's pretty much what I'm going to do for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Also have to plug that Trent and I are going to be on Barstool Game Time with Smitty.
Yes. Are we doing 2-on-2? How are we doing this?
So on Wednesday, it's going to be most likely around 4 p.m. Eastern, somewhere between 4 and I think 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to either play a round of Tiger Woods golf, somehow 2-on-2. I think Smitty's going to be involved.
Okay.
We're going to be involved. The other option, which, again, this is a Smitty operation, so we're not quite honed in on the details yet.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. The other option, apparently, is we might play Golden Tee. I don't know if you can, rent a Golden Tee. It sounds like someone thinks you can rent a Golden Tee.
That's Smitty.
And have them bring it to you, and we could technically hook up the Twitch to it.
Okay.
But the other option is we're just going to play Tiger Woods, which seems much more logistically realistic.
Hopefully that's what happens, because I would love to play Tiger Woods. I haven't played in a while.
So we're going to try to play a little old school Tiger Woods to get everybody in the mood for the U.S. Open. We might have to play more of a classical U.S. Open course, like Pebble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I don't think they have Aaron Hills in the 06 Tiger Woods video game.
Probably not.
Seems unlikely.
Unlikely.
I don't even know if the place was built at that point. It was built in 06. That's from Sunshine. So yeah, check that out. Follow Stool Game Time on Twitter if you don't already, because we're going to be doing a little battling, getting everybody in the mood for the U.S. Open. I think that's about it for me.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. This is appointment television every year.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you are in any way into golf.
Yeah, it's going to be a big weekend. We were actually a little behind the curtain. We were supposed to go to Newport, you and I, and that ended up not happening because we have to sit on the couch and watch a bunch of golf coverage. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, one of our coworkers might be running some sort of Ponzi scheme, and part of that involves a safe house or something in Newport.
And they were like, "Yeah, you guys should go." And we're like, "All right, yeah." And then we found out it was U.S. Open week. We're like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah, some of the questionable powers that be were like, "Yeah, you guys are up on the Newport house that weekend," and then today they were like, "Yeah, there's no cable or internet or anything." Like, okay,
Gaz was there this weekend, and he said there's barely beds there.
interesting. So we're not doing that. Instead, we're going to be here. We're going to be in New York. We're doing Game Time on Wednesday. We're going to be doing all kinds of coverage. I'm excited.
Me too. Very excited.
I love the U.S. Open. I want carnage. We all want carnage. We want blood.
Give me who you think's gonna win. Give it to me.
I really feel like Rory's going to win.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think he's coming in with such little press because he hasn't been playing,
Yeah.
and he's coming off a 2-week fucking vacation in Portugal or wherever the hell he was.
Yeah.
He's been hurt, so he hasn't been playing, so therefore he hasn't been getting a ton of coverage, therefore he doesn't have a ton of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a good sign. He hits the ball so damn well. He drives the ball so damn well. As Elk just told us in that conversation, he thinks the long hitters have a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Barely anybody hits it farther than Rory. When his driver's on, he hits it pretty damn straight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tee to green, he's going to be tough to beat. I think that if he's all healed up, which I feel like he is, I feel like he kind of
He's
played
been
it really
he's been slow playing his recovery.
Totally.
Very much so.
Totally.
He's in Tiger mode where he just wants to play the majors.
Completely. So I think he's really been over resting, basically, like making sure everything's absolutely fine. So I don't think the injury is going to be an issue. There's obviously the argument of like there being some rust in there because he hasn't been playing, but it's a U.S. Open. I think it's going to be tough for everybody no matter what. So he's, it's not like anybody's going out there and making a million birdies. He's going to be behind that way. You just avoid some big mistakes. He hits the ball so well, tee to green, like he's going to be hard to beat.
There you go.
What do you think?
I'm going to go chalk. After Butch Harmon's wheelbarrow comment, it's hard not to hate DJ. I think every major going forward up until a point is going to be DJ's to lose. Okay. So, I mean, long hitter hits it well. I think it's going to be DJ.
It would be nice if we had a Rory DJ kind of duel towards the end.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be riveting television.
Yeah. We had a little the Euro duel at the Masters.
Yep.
Now we could have like a little Euro v USA duel.
I would be all in on that. Maybe, hey, if Patrick Reed wants to stick his nose in there too, I'd be all in that.
You might have to after all this Euro USA talk.
I pick Patrick Reed every week, but, I wouldn't mind him getting in the mix.
All right, U.S. Open week. Everybody enjoy. We will be back next week with a full recap episode after the U.S. Open. Check us out there. Check us out Wednesday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, live at large. I hit it hard. Most people would have given up by now. All the rough I've seen, these ups and downs. Somehow I just keep on playing through. So all you critics pull up a chair. At the winner's circle soon, I'll be there with a high five and a smile for you. Hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. It's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. People trying to tell me how to live my life. These lawyers and strings spending money like my ex-wives. Sure, I gamble and I drink and smoke 3 packs a day. Hell, ain't country music supposed to be this way? It's from the heart, man. I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. I hit it hard. I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large. I hit it hard. I'll keep hitting it hard, man. How about you?